Hey, Truth Seekers! This is Nurse J at Nursing the Truth, and I hope everyone's having a great day. You know, it always happens like this. I'm in the shower getting ready, and I have another great revelation to bring to you guys. It's kind of like purification of the soul and the skin as well. So, with my good gods in the back, Anubis and Thoth, as always, we want to bring you truth, the God of wisdom, the God of truth and knowledge. And Anubis, that is the opener of the gate and opener of the ways to the dog star Sirius system, the belt of Orion. So, here we go. Now, as many as you know, the famous Josephus of the first century wrote a lot of books about the history and antiquities of the Jews. And he has supposedly written about Jesus, but that's for another episode. Because we know that was an interpolation by none other than Eusebius of Caesarea, the wonderful church historian under the Roman Emperor Constantine. Now, let's go back a little bit. We know in history that there was a nomadic shepherd kings, people from the area of Syria and that place in the Asia Minor that really nobody knew where these people came from. It's like they came out of nowhere. Well, you're going to be shocked at this, Truth Seekers, because I'm reading it right out of none other than Josephus, The Complete Works. And it's authored by William Winston. Now, you can go get this at your local library. And what I am reading from is in his book. It's on page 942 and 943 under paragraph number 25. Now, Josephus is supposed to be this Jew, right? From the same lineage of the Jews in Israel today, which Israel is an Egyptian name, my friends. Isis, Ra, and El, the god of Isis and Ra. Okay, that's another video. Now, so Josephus is saying that he's from the lineage of the Jews that are over there now, which we do know that those types of people that are there now come from the Caucasus Mountains and the Ashkenaz and Germany and Poland and all that area, okay? And really, the name Jews doesn't really particular go for a set of people. It's just a name from Judah, right? Not a certain type of people. Now, we know historical facts in Egypt, my beloved country. I do believe that I was reincarnated from there, but that's another story. I have very close ties to Egypt. I've been there. I love it, and I want to go back. Now, historical facts, give or take the 15th to 17th dynasty or 13th to the 17th, it just really give and take through historical scholars when this really took place. But anyway, these particular shepherd nomads came into Egypt and subdued the Egyptians. You see, put the Egyptians in bondage, and these nomadic shepherds took the reign of the kings. You see, the story has been twisted a little bit. But see, nobody in the church house wants to really dig dig into the matter of what is historical truth and what is a lie. You see, when I bring this to my church friends, they're like, oh, no, what's in the Bible? That's what it is. No. We don't want to hear that's blaspheming. Well, enough with the bullshit, okay? So you need to kind of dig a little deeper, have an open mind, and go back to ancient history. That's what I always tell everybody. You got to go back to the very beginning of the bullshit, and then you can find out what the real truth is. So you have these Hyksos, they come in, they do their little dirty work, and they put our people, my people, in bondage. And they take over, and they're the pharaohs, and my Egyptian people has got to kiss their ass. Okay, so this happened maybe a couple hundred years, 200, 300 years. Well, guess what, my friends? Josephus talks about that. But there's a little twist to the story. Are you on pins and needles? What I'm about to tell you. He says that he's from the lineage of the Hyksos. And he's supposed to be a Jew? Listen to this, my truth seekers. He says, now the Egyptians were the first that cast reproaches upon us, talking about his people, in order to please which nation? Some others undertook to pervert the truth. He's talking about the other writers are trying to pervert the truth, but his ass is perverting the truth. While they would neither own that our forefathers came into Egypt from another country, as the fact was, nor give a true account of our departure thence. And indeed, the Egyptians took many occasions to hate us and envy us. And I wonder why, Josephus? And he goes on to explain. In the first place, because our ancestors had the dominion over their country. That's right, my truth seekers. He said because his ancestors had the dominion over their country. The only time in Egyptian history, in the early times of the dynasties, were the Hyksos that ruled Egypt. All right, moving on. And when they were delivered from them and gone to their own country again, you see, they left after Egypt kicked their ass. They lived there in prosperity. In the next place, the difference of our religion from theirs hath occasioned great enmity between us, while our way of divine worship did as much exceed that which their laws appointed, as does the nature of God exceed that of brute beasts. For so far they all agreed, though the whole country, to esteem such animals as gods, although they differ from one another in the peculiar worship they severally pay to them. And certainly men that are entirely of vain and foolish minds, who have thus accustomed themselves from the beginning to have such bad notions concerning their gods, and could not think of imitating that decent form of divine worship which has made use of, though when they saw our institutions approved of by many others, they could not but envy us on that account. For some of them have proceeded to that degree of folly and meanness in their conduct as not to scruple to contradict their own ancient records, nay, to contradict themselves also in their writings, and yet was so blinded by their passions as not to discern it. Wow. He's just telling you. My people had the dominion over their country. Wow. How can a nomadic Syrian be a Jew? And even if the Abraham story, how can it be that you can get a Syrian Abraham from Chaldees, which is Babylon in Iraq, to marry an Egyptian and come out a Jew? Can you tell me how you can get, at that ancient time, there were dark people, they were darker, okay? They might not be Nubian black, but they were dark. So how can you get a darker skin Middle Eastern with a darker skin Egyptian and then be white as me? That can't happen. There's problems. You see, I've done my DNA. And I have Great Britain and Ireland. But you know, I have more Ireland in me than I do Great Britain. So I did some research on that. Come to find out, Ireland don't make the people. The people is what made Ireland. DNA facts prove that the Middle Eastern people left and went to Ireland. Okay. And that's another topic for discussion. Because you see, the Druids were in Ireland. And they claim descendage from Egypt. You also have Pharaoh Akhenaten's daughter, Mary Otten, that left and went to Scotland, which at that time, Scotland, Ireland, and all that were all together. And she married someone over there. And who knows? Maybe that's why the love of Egypt runs through my veins. Now, another lie that forked-tongued bastard said. You see, we've got to really dig deep in Josephus's records. You know, because I have a book called Hyksos Christ, and you must get that book as well. And also a lot of the work is online too by Roman Piso. It talks a lot about that really Titus Flavius Josephus was really a Roman. And his pen name was Josephus, and he wrote as a Jew, but he was really a Roman. And he was a bloodthirsty, dirty man. And a liar. And liked both sides of the fence. And I was reading some books last night by Pliny the Younger, which his uncle was Pliny the Elder that died in Mount Vesuvius when that volcano erupted. And did you know that Pliny was friends with Tacitus and Suetonius? And all three of those books have little quotations about Christians and a Christ or a Christos or a Christus. The lie goes way deep. And you see, Eusebius, from what these researchers did, is that he was in the bloodline of Constantine. And all of the emperors and the bishops and the cardinals and all that was in the bloodline. Cousins, uncles, brothers, nephews. And you want to know how come this bullshit has been going on and has been living for 2,000 years. Dear truth seekers, before it gets better, it's only going to get worse. So let's see what the other lie Josephus had to say. Because I know my pharaohs. I know where they are in history. You can't jerk me around, dumbass, because I'll fry your ass in the frying pan when it comes to my peeps. Now, Josephus says, Egypt together. He says, Amenophis, a fictitious king's name, though on that account he does not set down the number of years of his reign, which yet he had accurately done as the other kings that he mentions. He that ascribes certain fabulous stories to this king as having in a manner forgotten how had already related that the departure of the shepherds for Jerusalem had been 518 years before. For 10th Moses was king when they went away. Now from his days the reigns of the intermediate kings according to Manetho amounted to 393 years. As he says himself, to the two brothers, Sethos and Hermias, the one of whom Sethos was called by that other name of Egyptus, and the other Hermes by that of Danius. He also says that Sethos cast the other out of Egypt and reigned 59 years, as did his eldest son Ramses reign for 66 years. He says, and when Manetho therefore had acknowledged that our forefathers were gone out of Egypt so many years, he introduces his fictitious king Amenophis and says, this king was desirous to become a spectator of the gods, as had Horus, one of his predecessors in that kingdom before him. Okay. So guess what, my dear truth seekers? Amenophis was none other than Amhotep. And he's going to say that's a fictitious king. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, Mr. Josephus. Manetho had accurate records. He was a Greek Egyptian, and he had the king's list. Now, who's telling the lie? Amenophis is Amenhotep. And, Josephus really likes to put a lot of Greek mythology in his writings, but we'll get to that on another day, my truth seekers, and I will close it at that. So we know now, Josephus in his own writings said that his forefathers were the Hyksos invaders. And you see, my truth seekers, the 18th dynasty of Egypt was called the New Kingdom. It was the most prosperous kingdom that had ever walked the earth in Egypt, and established its military and was the strongest warring military on the face of the earth at that time, because they were tired of these dumbass invaders. Now, Amos the first and Hyksos started this revolution to get these assholes out of Egypt. Now, what's funny too is when Tutmosis the first and all got their asses out and drove them all the way up to like Avaris. You know, even archaeological evidence shows that people were living there at one time, and that's the Hyksos, which is called Tanis, and also is called Zoan or Zoar. So you'll see in the Bible a lot about Zoan or Zion. That's where you get the name Zionist from. Hello. Hyksos, Zionism. Take over the world. So, Tutmosis the first kicked them out, and they went with their tails in between their asses. But they've always been pain in our side. Those types of people love to ramshack, pillage, take, murder, lie, steal, kill, and destroy. And they're still walking there to this day. You see, they go into other people's places and they take things that do not belong to them. They're just herding around and go, I think I like what's over there. I like the oil. I like the minerals. I like all the stuff. And I think I'm going to take it for myself. I wonder who that sounds like. Leave it up to your own imagination. So the Syrians, the nomadics, the Asia Minor people that were in this nomadic tribe, they left and they went to Syria, Canaan, after they left Avaris. And they were causing trouble there. Well, we know what happens. Tutmosis III kicks their ass and sets up an Egyptian garrison and military in Canaan. And you want to know why? They're still finding archaeological evidence. And they just found a ring by Amenhotep III in Jerusalem. That is your Solomon. So, truth seekers, I hope you have enjoyed this eye-opening video. If you have any questions, concerns, I would love to hear the feedback. If there's something you want me to research, if there's something you want me to bring to light, I sure will do it for you. Like, share, subscribe. Just let me know how I'm doing. I mean, if you like what I'm bringing to the table, let me know. If you want me to bring something else to the table, I sure can do that as well. So till next time, Hotep Ashe, and look for the truth and let the truth set you free. Until then, see you next time, guys. Bye.